You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Strutting from Gorilla.
Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of SFG. We're hoping everyone is enjoying their holiday season so far. Now, today we're going to be breaking down the first holiday gift I think we all received, and it came in the form of the goodbye that we all got to have as we witnessed John Cena's final match at Saturday night's main event. So, before we dive in to discuss all the action, I just want to remind people we got a little bit of a different layout. There's a QR code in the corner. Use that to get connected with all of our socials. You can subscribe. You can leave us a review. Now, we got that out of the way. Vito, let's dive in to Saturday night's main event, man. What did you think? Overall, high-level thoughts before we get into some of the details, man.
Yeah, I think it was one of their best PLEs of the year, to be honest. I mean, listen, if you're asking ESPN if they would rather have that or WrestlePalooza, I think they're taking that, right? Even the matches before Cena, I thought were awesome. We got a little bit screwed with the first one, with the interference. You could tell everyone was pissed off about that, but it was really good. Contrary to what everyone else thinks, I really liked the ending of the Cena match, and we can get into that when we talk about it. What did you think?
Yeah, high level thoughts. I thought this was a really great showcase for NXT. And to me, it felt like this is exactly what Cena wanted. He wanted the future to be highlighted and to be showcased and to be seen as something that people can really look forward to. Because one of the pieces of this when you're saying goodbye is you start looking back on all the things that you had and you start looking forward on all the things you're going to miss. And so for him to put everybody in a situation where, I feel pretty good about us going ahead in the future because we have a lot to look forward to. And that right there, I think it's, when you talk about grief and saying goodbye, it's always important to have that balance of what are the things I have to look forward to. And NXT, Javon Evans, Sol Ruka, Obafemi, despite the ending, had a great showing, and I think there is a lot to look forward to from at least like those three, representative of just like the general crop of talent that are coming up. So I thought it was a great show overall. One of they're probably their best Saturday night's main event to date.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there's a few things we can kind of unpack here. First of all, shout out to Sol Ruka. If you haven't had a chance, and you know what, I'll post the link in here to our interview with Sol Ruka. She was a former guest here on Strutting from Gorilla, gave a great interview, and it was really great to see her on the card. And I thought her match was great, man. What I noticed about her match, I know I'm kind of skipping over the Cody Rhodes match because that's not open, but I wanted to talk about this one for a minute. I love Bayley. I know you're a huge Bayley fan.
Big time Bayley.
But it was very noticeable that Bayley was having a hard time keeping up with Sol Ruka. And you don't see that very often. But if you go back and watch that match, go back and watch. He was having a very hard time keeping up with Sol Ruka. And if you've seen a lot of go ahead. No, go ahead.
What do you think was going on? Because I noticed that too, and I don't know if maybe that was part of the story or if that was really something that was going on, where she was really, in fact, winded rather than it being, kind of playing up just how fast she is, because she's incredibly agile and quick in the ring. So I don't know if they were trying to play that up, that can Bayley actually keep up with her, or if that was something that was really going on.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was part of the storyline. I think there's two pieces here. I think number one, I don't think Bayley has been the same since her knee injury, as far as her in-ring wrestling. I think she's a fine wrestler and she's a veteran and she's going to do great, but I don't think she is at the level that she was before. I just truthfully don't believe that if you go back and watch her matches.
Interesting.
I
Okay.
think the second part is now you put her in the ring with someone who's extremely fast, extremely agile. I don't think she was winded. I just think she wasn't able to go at the pace that Sol Ruca was going at. So I think there's those two pieces. I also think that Sol probably needed to realize that and slow down a bit. But I think that's hard when it's her pace, and that's kind of what her matches are.
Yeah.
So that would be my 2 cents on that.
Interesting. All right. Well, listen, I want to get into this, but before we really do, I have like one little piece of business, like a little shout
Yeah.
out that I have to give Vito.
Yeah.
So I have to tell you, on December 13th, that Saturday, my wife and I were actually out with some friends, and we were in Worcester, which for people who aren't in Massachusetts know, it's in the western part of the state. So we were there, and we were at this lovely place called Ruby Doo's. It was a Korean restaurant, and we were sitting at the bar, and the TV was right in front of us, and I happened to have my John Cena shirt on. And the chef who was working there, his name's Mateo. So shout out Mateo. He's one of our newest subscribers. So thank you. He caught the shirt caught his eye, and we started to just chatting up about wrestling. And he ended up he shut the music off in the restaurant and put Saturday night's main event onto the TV so that we could watch it. And it was actually just such a fun experience. It was completely unexpected. I had thought we were just going to watch it afterwards. So it was really cool. Kind of made the night for us. So shout out to Ruby Doo's in Worcester. It's great food. And to Mateo, thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Also, shout out to your wife for loving wrestling and watching it on your little date night. That's amazing.
Oh yeah. Mrs. Cash. She's all about it.
Oh, I know,
You know what
she
it
is.
It's really it's
she is.
years of wearing people down to eventually do what you want them to do. So
Yep.
that's how it was with wrestling.
They will. No, that's great. No, good shout out. I mean, anytime you can go out to a nice Korean joint and they throw Saturday Night Main Event on so you can see John Cena give his farewell address on TV. I mean, that's a win, Mikey Cash.
Oh
It's a
yeah.
win.
Not for everybody that was sitting on the bar end of that restaurant, but for us it was.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But I mean, overall, Mikey, it was great. And you know, if we're getting back to Sol Ruca and Bailey, right. I thought it was a solid match for the show. I mean, it was a great match. That was just my opinion, is that's the only thing I noticed. And listen, you can nitpick anything you want, but that would be my 2 cents on that match.
So I don't necessarily agree completely with that, because I think that Bailey's too good for that to really be the case. Well, and maybe I'm biased, and later on we'll find out something or whatever then. But I don't think that was the case. I think that was part of the story, is in order to make her look like $1 million, part of it is, oh wow, this is somebody that we all hold in very high regard when you think about Bailey and what she's meant to the women's division. And somebody like Sol Ruca, who's a blue chipper, so to speak, former SFG guest, and she's got the world ahead of her, and to get made by somebody with the caliber of Bailey, I think means a lot for her career. So I think that this was more part of the, just sort of part of the story that they were trying to tell. Obviously, time will tell, and you might be proven right, and I'll have to eat my words. But I just think Bailey's too good, man. I don't think that's really indicative of what's going on with her.
Watch her matches.
She's got a great character, man. She's doing some of the best work of her career.
Watch her matches. I'd be willing to bet it's not just this one. I haven't gone into depth and looked, but I'm willing to put money on it.
All right. Well, if I went, you know what? Okay, that's fine. Let's put some money on it. We're gonna off air, folks. We're gonna be making some bets.
All right. Well, anyways, all right. So let's rewind. I skipped ahead though. Let's go back in time here and talk about the opening match. Right? They had Cody Rhodes and Obafemi open up the show. What'd you think?
Obafemi basically creating one of the best memes of all time with his strut. I mean, I think strutting from Gorilla should change it so that it's really named after Obafemi because that dude's strut is just power. That's all. It's all it exudes. Power, machismo. This guy is going to come to the ring and he's going to beat your ass, and that is that is Obafemi in a nutshell. I think this dude is heavyweight champion material. I'm not saying right away, but watch him. Watch how agile he is in the ring. He's got a balance of power and speed. He's got agility. And then not for nothing, the guy can cut a promo too. So this guy, like he's got everything that they're kind of looking for. They'll continue to develop this guy, but this match with Cody was huge for him. And up until that ending, which is just typical Attitude Era schmaz stuff that we've seen before, I thought the match was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, Cody did a really good job with him. Like Cody made him look like $1 million. He didn't like, he didn't no sell him and stuff. I think Oba had a really great showing with him. I thought they told a good story of Cody being someone who's almost like surprised at the talent that he came up against.
Yeah.
And you
That's
kind
what
of
I got
see
out of
that
it, too.
throughout I saw that throughout the night with NXT. I think maybe that was some a theme that was there of, oh, we're going to surprise you actually with how good we really are. Don't get it twisted that just because, we're in our little, gym hangar in Orlando that the talent's any less than what you're seeing week to week on, USA and Netflix. So I think it was just a great showing for Obafemi. And hey, we got a little blood too. Cody,
Yeah.
Cody as
When he
usual,
went
living up
through
to
the
the Rhodes
table.
name. I feel
Yeah.
like Rhodes and Moxley are just like the two bloodiest people in the sport. And for Mox, it's on purpose, but I actually think Cody Rhodes like accidentally gets busted open more than anybody I've seen lately.
Yeah, that was definitely an accident, right? He went through that table and you saw it. He was just like, oh.
I just think get busted on his ear. It was all messed up.
Yeah, it really was. No, I agree with you. I thought it was a great match, and I like Obafemi. And what makes this different about this NXT era than at the end of the Cena match, and we'll talk about this there, but
Yeah.
they talked about the end of sports entertainment and professional wrestling one, right? There's bits and pieces of truth to that, and you can kind of see it as you saw these matches, right? In the years past, when Vince McMahon was in charge, it was at least what I in this podcast was complaining about the most is that we just get force fed everything, right? Like you're gonna like John Cena no matter what. You're gonna like Austin Theory no matter what. And they just keep forcing it. And I think people hated that. And I know I did. It was my biggest thing. And I think this era of NXT is different. And they're slowly bringing people up. Like they easily could have forced Braun Breaker down our throat, right? He came up, he was champion NXT, and then you can kind of feel the slow building. And I like the way they're doing it this way, where it's like, okay, you got the NXT talent facing some of the stars of today. I think that is a great way to do it. And what makes it even more hilarious is that it was set up by a guy that kind of was the opposite of that. Because John Cena was the guy that was forced down your throat, right? So yeah, I like Obafemi. I think he's going to be great. I like the way they're doing this, and we'll see how he plays out as they move forward, and hopefully they can capitalize, and especially he can capitalize on all of this, and move up. Do you think he'll be on the main? Out of all the people that were on the card, who do you think will be on the main roster first?
Well, I think of all three of them, it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Javon Evans on the roster first out of the three of them. I think at the top of the card in NXT, there's probably a little bit more to do to get that well established. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't have any options outside of Obafemi. You know, Ricky Starks just had his heel turn, and I think that's really starting to get established. I do also think that Ethan Page, him and Chelsea Green are doing like just fantastic work together.
Phenomenal.
And I think this is going to be a springboard of getting Ethan Page up to that like NXT champion level again. So it wouldn't surprise me if at some point he's up there. Tony D'Angelo also came back, and he's got a new kind of twist on his character. So we'll kind of see where that goes. But anyway, I could go on, but those are just some of the names that come to mind when I think of who's sort of working their way up to the top of the card in NXT, so that they could eventually transition Obafemi over to the main roster. But make no mistake, either way, by this time next year, all three of these people will be up on the main roster full time. I'm just saying that Javon Evans will be the first one to go up.
Yeah.
And
all right. No, that's fair.
He'll probably be in the Rumble, and he'll probably be in whatever sort of giant ladder match they're about to have at WrestleMania. So that's where my head goes. Like, who are you going to want in a match like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it if both him and Slater were on, because they usually do a tag team ladder match.
Don't get me started on Leon Slater. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great, but
he's a veteran in like a 20-year-old body. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, but I think if they put both, because they usually do that like tag team ladder match at WrestleMania, if they have them as a tag team in that ladder match, dude, it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Listen.
Anyway,
if you know the powers that be somehow listen to our podcast, I'm telling you, if we say anything, add them to the ladder match and give us just give us a little bit of cred to that. That's all.
Yeah, just a press pass. That's fine. We don't care.
No big deal. NBD. But yeah, okay. So the only thing I would change about Cody and Femi, and this is just me. I mean, the ending was, I think, not great, but I think if they were gonna do that ending, instead of it being Drew McIntyre, it should have been Ricky Starks.
Yeah.
And the only reason the only reason I say that is because he just made a heel turn. That would put a lot more heat on him. And I know he's buddies with Cody Rhodes. So, and it showcases another talent rather than McIntyre, who, like, we all know hates Cody Rhodes, and he's a grumpy old vet. Like, we already know that. I don't think it needs to be put over anymore. But again, listen, I think it would have not been great either way, but that's how I would have done it.
I feel like I'm trying to think of what they were thinking, so I'm probably wrong, but they were on, so obviously they were on Peacock, but they were also airing on NBC. And so if I'm thinking, who are the people who are going to be familiar, they're going to be way more likely to know who Drew McIntyre is than to know who Ricky Starks is running out.
Fair.
And that's not a knock against Ricky Starks, but I think in their minds they're thinking, who are the people that most of our watching audience is seeing every week on television?
Yeah, fair.
And I think NXT is always kind of been like a little bit like just like a notch below, like, you know, the little bit of the underground in WWE's mind, at least, you know.
Yeah.
So I think in that aspect they might have thought makes more sense to put McIntyre out there.
Or you have McIntyre come out and interrupt first, and then Ricky Starks come out. They both beat on Obafemi and Rhodes, and then Rhodes and Obafemi, you know, now are on the same side. Then they celebrate together, something like that. I don't know. Whatever, it's fine. Listen,
we can fantasy book until next year.
Yeah,
which is a week from now.
Listen, I always like fantasy booking. It's my thing. Like I always 99 times out of 10 I'm wrong, and it's okay.
The ratio of this show is not good.
There was one time I'm pretty sure I picked NWO to come back or something for something stupid. Everyone laughed at me. So whatever. We'll
as they should
leave it at that. Yeah. I think it was when Cena turned. When Cena turned, I said they should just make another NWO.
Oh, you did say that.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't listen to that suggestion.
I'm pretty sure at one point I said bring Hogan back, like, because Hogan was alive at that time. Yeah. So rest in peace. God rest your soul.
Brother.
So okay, we got those matches down. Then we had the tag match.
Oh man, AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, Leon Slater, and Javon Evans. There was a this match was really a great again, showcase is the word that keeps coming to mind, but I honestly feel as though every match that we had on the card was a form of that for everybody that was in NXT. And to Dragon Lee's credit, who listen, he's an established star, but he's not as established as somebody like AJ Styles. So for him to sort of be in the mindset to do something like this, to really put these guys in a strong position, is great. And the match itself was great. And I thought they did a good job. They told a good story. Uh, I can't tell whether or not there's a particular spot within that match where AJ Styles goes up on the rope and then he slips. I don't
Yeah.
know whether that was real or not. You read a couple of different things, so you don't really know. Here's what I'll say. If this was real, then what Leon Slater did right after speaks volumes about his wrestling knowledge and about his IQ in the ring and
Yeah,
how to
he's what, 20 years old?
He's at least early 20s. And for those that didn't get to see it, so AJ Styles goes up on the top rope to potentially do some move, but he slips and he falls off. And it was unclear whether or not that was like part of the match or he actually fell and slipped. And Leon Slater, who was kind of in the position to receive the move, actually ended up getting up and running over and trying to pin him, which in wrestling, that's actually something that's looked at as trying to help the other person, because after they kick out, it kind of gives them a little bit of a beat, gives them a rest. So it actually allowed AJ Styles to sort of recalibrate a little bit too, if this is in fact what happened and it wasn't just part of the match. But I'm of the mindset that maybe it wasn't.
No, it definitely
And again,
wasn't.
it's just kind of showing that Leon Slater has a really great mind for the business, and I think it went a long way in building up his trust from other performers too, because you can trust a guy like that in the ring to take care of you, and I think that's going to pay off for him. It wouldn't surprise me to see Leon Slater eventually be in the WWE full time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think TNA right now is kind of becoming a little bit of a feeder system, but
Yeah.
that's a topic for another episode.
I also really like this match. There'd be two things that I want to bring up. Number one, I don't know if it was a time constraint thing, but it felt like that match was slightly rushed. I don't know. I still think it was great. Don't get me wrong, but it felt like they were moving at a faster than normal pace, and you couldn't really get a chance to let it marinate. But the other piece that I would say, and it was still a good match, I enjoyed it. But the other piece I would say is that we got to see the two of them face off at TNA Bound for Glory. And we mentioned how that match stole the show a bit, and we got robbed of the ending there. For those of you who haven't had a chance and you saw this match, go back and watch the TNA Bound for Glory match between Leon Slater and oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. I'm good for this once a show. Who is his partner? Leon Slater's partner?
Javon Evans.
Javon Evans. Oh my God, I'm blanking. Go back, watch that match. It's a great match, and that's what I'd say. I think it gave those two a chance to showcase on this, and I thought it was great. And you know what? I think there's mention of AJ Styles possibly having one more year left in his career, so it was great to see him on there as well. So that's my 2 cents on that match. But overall, I thought all three of the, we'll call them preliminary matches, were great. I mean, let's be honest, this pay-per-view is all about John Cena's last match. And
oh yeah, it was all about him, and he kept trying to not make it about him.
Yeah, sure. And it was great. I mean, I watched the pre-show. I watched the pre-show, and it was 2 hours of just talking about Cena, and it was great. It was really great, and this PLE was really interesting because it gave me a feeling that I haven't had in a long time watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it. I really don't. I think when you see somebody and you know it's the end and it builds up this pay-per-view or again PLE more than a normal PLE, it's a different feeling, man. Like I can't describe it to you unless you actually have that feeling and it's listen, I know you're the same way as me. I've been watching wrestling since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And it's a very organic feeling that you can't, no matter how well they tell a story, you don't get this feeling unless you are emotionally invested in something
Mhm.
at a higher level than you normally would be. The only time I can tell you that this is a similar feeling to me, and I know you're a New York Giants guy, but as a Patriots fan, like when they lost, when they went into Super Bowl, whatever it was, I forget
42
against the
undefeated.
Giants, yeah,
Mhm.
and they were going for the perfect season, and they lost. That devastation at the end, it was like a similar
Mhm.
feeling, the anticipation going in, and then
Yeah.
devastation at the end. Like it was very emotional, and I thought it lived up to all of it, and I'll talk about the ending in a minute here, but let me get your thoughts on that, like the build up and how you felt going in. And
There was an energy that was there, and it was almost like for me, it was like grieving. It was like, I know the end is coming. It's you've anticipated it for a while, ever since he made the announcement that this was coming, and in my head before, you could just kind of put it off as this abstract ending that was on its way, but you didn't have to necessarily deal with it yet. And then come that Saturday, okay, this is it. This is the final time. The last time is now. It all really did. It was very apropos that that's what it was. It was the last time, and it was really a culmination of this 20-year career, and you can't help but reflect on the memories you yourself as a fan have. And for me, I can remember watching that open challenge that Kurt Angle did on SmackDown, where you got to
yeah,
see that
me
that
too.
rookie John Cena walk out there. And I remember, watching him at I think it was Vengeance in 2002, and he had his first pay-per-view match, and it was against Chris Jericho. And I was like, who is this guy? And kind of following the development of his career, sort of the up and down, even in my own fandom of him, because I think, like all of us, we all got caught up in that. Oh, I can't believe they're just making Cena win everything. When he was in the Super Cena mode, it made it tough to want to root for him, despite the fact that he was giving great performances.
Yeah,
And so for me, coming to watch this Saturday night's main event felt like this is a way to pay respect for the things that he's done. And in a business that often doesn't allow you the opportunity to have a goodbye in this way, to be able to do that was really significant. And to your point of like the sports analogy, for me, it felt like it, to me, nothing ever really touches this. So this isn't a knock against wrestling, but it's just for me personally. But being at Derek Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium, 2014, the way that game all played out, he comes up to bat, his final at bat of his career at Yankee Stadium, and he gets a walk-off hit and wins the game. There's just nothing like that to sort of uh I think encapsulate what that guy meant to us as fans of him, watching him for 20 years perform day in and day out.
yeah.
And so I think in the same way we all kind of felt that with John Cena, which is probably why, as we transition here to the ending of that match, why it felt so devastating to watch it end the way it did, and why so many people had a problem with it.
I get why people had a problem with it. And I didn't know, this is one of those rare moments where I know you had said he's going to tap out. Like you literally
I did
said
say,
that. Yeah, you said it. And I think I think deep down, I agree with you at the moment. But then I also was like, I don't know, man. I feel like that's a weird way for him to go out. And in watching the match, I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea. How do you end a career of somebody who was so well respected? And I want to go back to this well respected thing when we're done talking about the ending, because there's some stuff I learned that I or realized at watching the PLE that I guess I never really thought about before. But the ending piece, I really liked it. And I think you could have done it many different ways. I think everybody there wanted to see John Cena win. They felt he deserved to win. And I don't disagree with that. However, I think the moment of watching him tap out and how he did it was so interesting and unique. It felt at the moment very anticlimactic. Like it felt like that's it. That's what happened. And I could get why everyone was booing. But I think if you're looking at wrestling from the traditional standpoint, that is how you send somebody off. And John Cena wanted to do that. You can argue how the ending was good or wasn't good, but he accomplished what he wanted to do. And I listened to pieces of the Cody Rhodes podcast with John Cena on there, and I'm sure we can talk about that too a little bit. But he and a lot of people have really kind of made the comparison of like this almost being like the death of somebody, right? Like, and I could get that, and I see that, and I mean, in those moments, it was basically him saying, "I'm done. Like, I'm smiling. My career was great. I'm done. I'm tapping out." And I really liked it. I thought it was a very unique ending. And it made it more emotional. Like if he wins and everyone celebrates, like that's fine. But like by him losing, everybody there was so upset. Like it made it feel different. So
it's funny because when you think about how like the traditions of professional wrestling, one of them is exactly what we saw. And so when I look at it that way, none of us should have been surprised, but there's something interesting about John Cena that actually made you think he might win his last match.
Yeah.
And that's what's funny. At least to me, is that I think for some reason it just kind of messed with everybody's expectations of what this was going to be. And I noticed that about I can only talk about myself. So when I was watching that, I had that thought, but then I recognized that, well, Cena is very focused on the future. He wants the business to be better than it was when he left it. He had been saying that for years now, that he wants it to be better than he left it. So when I look at that, that just informed me in my opinion that, oh, he was going to lose. He was going to do, you can call it the right thing or whatever, but it just going along with tradition there of it makes more sense from a wrestling standpoint to be putting over someone who's going to continue to be there than it is for him to have one more bask in the sun. Because when you look back at his career, he did have a couple of nice little moments of sunshine towards the tail end of this farewell tour. We can always criticize what happened in the beginning, but man, you and I were both there in Boston. Is that not one nice last crowning achievement that he became a Grand Slam champion in a couple of weeks before he retired?
Yeah.
And then the match at Survivor Series. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's great. I agree. I think we could go back and we talked about this on our last podcast, but I truthfully feel this way. I still think they missed a bit on the build up to this actual last match. Like the build up to this last match was the fact that it was his last match. And I think if they had built up the storyline between him and Gunther a little bit, I think it would feel even. I think it would feel better, like because I feel like people came in and it's like, oh, he's facing Gunther, like great, and I think they know he's like this heel, and he does the sleeper holds and all that. But if they spent a little bit more time marinating that and making him feel a bit more on John Cena's level, I think you could get away with it, and people would still be upset, but I think it just felt a little off in that regards, and I think that's why people were upset with it. But no, I like the ending, and to see all the wrestlers come out and hold on. Well, actually, let me go back one step. After that match, going into the Raw, I think they did a really great job of capitalizing on Gunther by him coming out. That segment was great, where he just like basically got booed out of the building.
Yep.
And then he he goes and walks through, and basically everyone's just like shaking their head at him. And then he sees AJ Styles, gets in the car, and he goes, "Hey AJ, you can't see me." Drives off, dude. I thought that was so well done.
Yeah,
I thought it was so good. And
great troll job.
Oh, he's got nuclear heat on him right now, and I love it. And I think he can handle it, and I think he loves it. To be honest with you,
yeah.
So there's that piece. The other thing I wanted to.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you
on this. Okay, good.
Well, so we can have as much of a problem as you have with the ending, but can you argue with the results?
No, you can't. You can't. But it doesn't feel good. So again, like a lot of the people
that's life. It doesn't feel good sometimes.
Oh, I agree. And that's it's like watching a good horror film. Like most of the time everybody dies, and it's like it's still a good movie, still a good horror film.
Right. It was a good movie. This ending is we're gonna talk about this ending forever now. And it's great. I don't know how much of that podcast you listened to, but I ended up watching all of it. And to hear him go through his thought process really influenced my thinking about the ending itself. Because listen, even though I called it, doesn't mean I liked it initially when I saw it. But
I agree.
I was like, oh, damn, I didn't handle it well.
The only interesting thing I'll say is listening to him talk about it afterwards. Do you think it was his decision to do that? Because he not once does he like take responsibility for being like, I wanted to go out this way. This is how I wanted to do it. Do you think it was more like creative's decision or his decision? Because I think he's fine with how it went, but he never really takes responsibility for it. Does that make sense? Like he could easily just say, you know what, guys, this is what I wanted to do. This is how I wanted to do it. He doesn't. He doesn't. He just basically says, I'll do what I'm told, and I do it to the best level I can do it.
Right. I think really when I look at that, I think it was a little bit of both. He clearly had input into it, but I also don't think it was strictly like one or the like one person's decision over the other. And I feel as though he did take some responsibility for it. He talked about like kind of crafting the art of professional wrestling and like the art that he put out there within this match. And this is what we're doing, exactly what he talked about, which you put the art out there and now kind of belongs to everybody, and everyone's going to sort of share their perception, their interpretation, what did they get from it, their criticisms of it. And he seems like so at peace with it. And I think that part, at peace, is the crux of why we saw the ending play out the way he did. He was at peace. I mean, Matt Hardy said it too. There was a lot of people within the wrestling business that I valued what they had to say about the subject. It wasn't everybody, but there was a few people that I really thought, okay, I sort of trust that they have like this balanced perspective on wrestling, and it's like more in line with where I am now, and I can understand it. I didn't have to like it in the moment, but that's the beauty of what we got. Is this gave us something to chew on. We had discourse about it. We're listening to what other people have to say about their interpretations of it, and that kind of informs our opinions. Man, I know I can get kind of existential when it comes to wrestling, but I loved that. Like you kind of sink my teeth into that. So in that way, I feel like Cena did his job. This is cool. This is the wrestling that I want now.
Yeah, no, and
13-year-old Mike wasn't able to handle that. And and there's 13-year-olds that are watching that and probably still think that sucks that he did it. It's going to take them many years to really understand why that happened the way it did. But that's fine because when we were younger, we had the other things that were similar. The Montreal screw job, we didn't understand why that happened the way it did. It took us many years to understand all the nuances that went into that particular situation. And we look at that now as not very black and white. So I know that those are two different situations, but they're both just as polarizing. And I think that it takes maturity to understand why somebody did something the way they did it.
no, I agree with you. And I guess my point is that I've heard Cena on a bunch of podcasts, and he evades the questions when they ask him about his run. And all he says is, does it matter? Like they talk about the Rock and Travis Scott situation. And he goes, he doesn't answer the question. He just says, does it really matter? What happened, and we move forward. So like, again, I understand he's probably doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus, but it doesn't make it seem like he is taking responsibility for the farewell tour. Like he's basically saying, listen, I'm doing what I'm told. This is what I've done my whole career. I make the best of it with what I'm given. But like at the ending here, he could easily have just said, yeah, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to go out and this was it. But he does not straight up say that. He says, go back and listen. Go back and listen. He doesn't say it. So it makes it even weirder. And I like almost puts more heat on like Triple H and creative because he doesn't say that. So whatever it is, that's fine with me. I just find that very interesting. But the piece I wanted to talk about and what I learned about Cena is, I think one of my pieces, if we go back again, we have that John Cena spotlight episode we did. And I want your thoughts on this. Okay. Because I came to a realization on something after watching that and seeing the tributes and how much respect everybody had for Cena. What I think I didn't like about Cena is that every time he talked and spoke and did something, there were pieces of it that seemed very fake. Like he was portraying this person where does everything right and there's like no faults. But like after listening to him speak, I don't think it's fake. I think that's just how he literally did everything. Like he was told to do something, he did it to the best of his ability, and then he helped other people along the way, and he just didn't have that piece. And I started to realize that as I was listening to him talk and the way he did things, and listening to I think when I saw Cody Rhodes, if you watched after the show, they interviewed Cody Rhodes, who was just standing by the ring crying. And like what he said was directly from the heart, like off the cuff. And it was great. And then you heard The Miz and CM Punk and all these other people. And I thought The Miz probably said it the best out of everybody about that ending. Did you happen to hear what he said?
No, I didn't hear Mrs. thoughts on it.
I'll go back and watch it. He basically went back and said, he goes, this is Mike, not the Miz speaking. And he goes, all you fans can sit out here and boo all you want, but for years, you didn't want John Cena. People booed him more than they cheered him, and he did the same thing over and over again. And now you get the ending that you wanted, and now you're booing about that. He goes, there's no pleasing anybody. This is exactly what you wanted. It was the perfect ending, and you just can't see it. He said it in different words, but go back and listen to it. I think you'll relate to what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I can already, on face value, what you're telling me, I 100% agree with The Miz.
Yeah, it was great. It was a really great piece. And also CM Punk had a great thought on it too. I mean, I think he always sees things in a different light and articulates himself very well with this stuff. And I thought he did a good job with it too. But I think everybody outside of some of the fans were very happy about this ending.
Yeah. I agree. It's, you know, this is going to be a show that we're going to talk about for years. And not only for what it meant as wrestling fans, but I also believe if from like a business standpoint, I know that might sound strange to bring up, but I think what they have found with this John Cena farewell tour is that there, in their eyes, there's money to be made in doing something like this.
Yeah.
It obviously, as a fan, it can be fun too to be a part of that. Like, oh, I got to see him on his
Yeah.
farewell tour. I mean, all like bands do it. Like this happens, you know.
Mhm.
So it was only a matter of time before wrestling, which was weirdly behind the ball on this particular thing. They never really did this kind of um this sort of shtick with the farewell tour story. Not that, you
The
know,
only
like it
reason,
wasn't,
no,
it
the
wasn't
only
as
reason,
something they're-
no, the only reason I'm saying that is that's because most people never retire in wrestling. Look at the
no, they
Undertaker.
just keep
Look at
going.
Hulk
Like
Hogan. Look at Ric Flair. You like
it-
Cena's the only one who has put a line in the sand and said, "I'm done."
that's it. And because some of those guys, the line was put for them. You know, even Edge, well, at least we thought at one point, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Austin, you know, that he drew his own line in the sand with, you know, it because he was running
But it was
hard.
very abrupt.
Yeah, I think the most story we got was the Ric Flair retirement.
Mhm.
That felt like the most, in addition to like Shawn Michaels, but even that, like they were shorter than what we got with John Cena. Like John Cena,
Yeah.
you knew coming up, this is gonna be a year left that I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
You didn't kind of have that with, you know,
No, I think
Michaels
more people
or
should do it
Flair. You
that way.
weren't sure what was gonna happen.
I think more people should do it that way. We don't need a
Oh, they're going to.
we don't need a 65-year-old Undertaker in the ring, like, and we don't need a, you know, we listen. I'm fine with just doing the retirement and just saying I'm done with in-ring wrestling, and you can still be involved. You can still come on the show and
Mhm.
you know do your cameos. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
I think that's a great way to do it, and I'm on board with all of that, man. I'm on board with all of it, 100%.
Yeah. You know, I think there's going to be an interesting almost like adjustment period now as we go into the post Cena era, because it's almost like a come down. It was all of this build up. We had it happen. We've had the like a week or two now to sort of digest it. We're seeing some great effects immediately when you think about Gunther and the heat that he's getting from this, but also, you know, where does Cody go from here? And so there's a lot. There's a lot. I have more thoughts on it than we have time to discuss. But
Yeah, I will only say this. I know. Okay, as we wrap up here, you know, what is the Cena? What does the post Cena era look like? The only thing that I'll say is that the people that they're pushing now are not young. Like CM Punk,
yeah, yeah,
AJ
you're right.
Styles, Gunther isn't that young. Cody Rhodes isn't that young. I mean, they're younger, but they are not young. Like you go back and you look at like when Randy Orton, Cena, Batista, Brock Lesnar, they all came in, they were in their young 20s, right? And
Mhm.
they were champions. So well, I'm very curious to see how that plays out. I think they do have to start picking some of these younger guys and pushing them quicker.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I have, so this popped into my head for no other reason than, so for people that don't know, I'm a therapist when I'm not doing this. And I'm thinking about how do people deal with loss and grief. And when you think about the stages, like there's sort of like there's denial, bargaining, depression, anger, you know, and eventually you get to acceptance. And we saw that play out within John Cena's farewell tour, right? And that was part of the heel turn, I think. But according to him, I think that's at least how maybe he justified it or whatever. But the way he explained it on Cody's pod was made me believe that was the interpretation. So with that said, now that this retirement tour is done and he's gone, and you see how devastated Cody was, it would not surprise me that if this is a catalyst for what might be an eventual Cody heel turn.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea how. I can't give you any specifics of like the what is going to happen, but I don't know. I just feel it in my bones. I don't know how else to say it. And that's nothing but just a dude who's watching wrestling. And I just got an inkling that
All right.
he's pretty devastated. And people that are in that mode have been known to do some things that are pretty uncharacteristic.
All
So
right.
I think I wouldn't be surprised. I just don't know the when or the how.
All right. Well, we'll have to find out. We'll see. I think it's, I think the time is now.
Time is now.
For people to step up. They have a golden
Yeah.
opportunity here. And we'll see how it plays out. I think they have a lot of young wrestlers coming up. I think now you're going to actually have to see, can Triple H make some of these stars? Because he was kind of on the heels of Vince McMahon with a lot of these wrestlers, and he got the best out of a lot of them. Now let's see if he can build his own. So,
well, I think that's that I have exhausted all of my John Cena energy right now. I feel like we got a great discussion out of this, and I know maybe it was our own postmortem on John Cena's career.
One thing I did wanted to mention, and this is off the subject here, but I have to, you gave a shout out earlier to a new fan. I have to give a shout out to one of my friends growing up. He was my neighbor, literally lived next to me, a house away. You could throw a rock at it. We used to watch wrestling together all the time. We had all the backyard wrestling. We got videos. We did all that stuff. He listened to our podcast when we first started, and kind of wasn't listening as much. He went back and listened to every single podcast we had. And it's 95 episodes at this point. We're doing it since 2020. And like gave me a full rundown of everything. He's like, listen, which is a great perspective, because if you listen to it all at once, you can hear some of the stuff we've done and haven't done. But I just want to give him a shout out. That's a lot of time and effort to do that. And
absolutely,
his name is Bobby Nastasia. So shout out, Bob. We appreciate it. He was also a big fan of Bobby Stone. Shout out Bobby Stone. He really enjoyed his WWE stock update. Which if you had listened to Bobby Stone back in the day, I believe WWE stock was at $32, and I don't even know what it is at now. But anyways, just wanted to give that shout out, because I that's a lot of listening hours, and we appreciate it. So, but the other piece too, Mikey, we're coming up on our 100th episode here, our centennial. We might have to do something really special.
I have a feeling I got an idea. I got some ideas. We're going to be talking off air, but we're going to try to do something really fun for you guys for our 100th. Amazing that we're coming up on that. We're so lucky. It's cool. All right. Well, guys, we hope that you enjoyed this review of Saturday Night's Main Event, and us being able to talk about John Cena and his incredible career and what it meant to us. We hope you all have a very wonderful, safe holiday season, a happy new year, and we will be back in 2026 with some new stuff coming your way. In the meantime, like we said, scan that QR code, connect with us on the socials, let us know what you want to see. We'd love to chat more wrestling with you guys. But until next time, keep on strutting, jabronis.